Hey you. So today's movie is one of my all-time favorites. It's one of those movies. It's a Cinderella movie. It's one of those movies that whenever I need a pick me up or a um remember happy endings kind of movie, I'll just watch this one cuz it always works. It's got that little bit of mystery, it's got that flair, it's got good music, happy endings. I mean, it's got the underdog coming out on top. It's got Cinderella finding her prince. It's a very, very, very um, predictable movie. And that's what makes it so nice. Because sometimes what you need is a very predictable movie. Now, for some people, that will not resonate. Some people will be like, "Are you serious? You want me to watch a predictable movie? You want me to watch a movie where if I watch the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of this movie, I will know exactly the end because I can just figure it out and guess it for myself?" Yes. Sometimes what you need is a movie with a good trailer. Not a movie where the trailer shows you the end. You cannot have that. That is not good. That is a bad trailer. I'm sorry, but a lot of Hallmark movies have this problem where in 30 seconds they show you the whole movie. So there's no point in watching the movie because they show you the ending. That is a terrible thing to do. You should not make trailers in the order of the movie. Like the story in the trailer has to be mixed up uh, and not be in the chronological order that the movie is in because that will mess up the movie for the person watching the trailer because they'll already know the ending. They will literally have seen the ending. You cannot do that as a trailer. That's a bad trailer. But this movie has a good trailer. A Cinderella Story. It has a good trailer. It will not show you the ending. But when you watch the first 10 minutes of the movie, you will kind of be able to figure out the ending. Like, there's not a lot of doubt that you will have there. And that is really good, according to me, because that is what you would expect from a Cinderella movie, right? Like a Cinderella, you know the story of Cinderella. So a Cinderella movie will give you that story. It will just change it up every time. You have a Cinderella story, another Cinderella story, a Cinderella story. What was it? Once Upon a Song. You have a Christmas movie, Cinderella Wish. You have all these different Cinderella movies. You have newer versions, older versions. You have little changes, all of them. And I think it's very good that they keep these stories alive because there's something about Cinderella movies that sticks, you know? And it's not that the girl needs a guy to save her, because in this movie the girl doesn't need a guy to save her. But it's the story. It sticks, you know? Like I really want to watch this one again, the Cinderella movie from 2018, 17. The one with the girl who also plays in Potato Peel Pie Society and Mamma Mia 2. Yeah, so there are all these different Cinderella movies. I love them. You will always know the story. Still, many people watch them because these movies are just good. They make us feel happy. They make us proud of the girl, happy for the couple, and you walk away with a good feeling. That's what these movies are all about. So, leading lady in this movie is called Sam and is played by Hilary Duff. You might know her as a singer. You might know her from the movie Raise Your Voice, from The Perfect Man, or from the television series Younger. And Austin, the one of the two main guys, is played by Chad Michael Murray, who you will probably know from One Tree Hill, a very big, very famous TV series. So, and then I guess a couple of people that are good to tell you about is Fiona, the stepmom of Sam, Brianna and Gabriella, the stepsisters of Sam, Rhonda, who is basically who stepped in as Sam's mom because she takes care of Sam in a way that nobody else does. And Carter. Carter is Sam's best friend, and that guy is just amazing. He plays all these different characters because he's a wannabe actor, and he's just so He's so kind, and he just got this amazing heart. And he's so funny as well. Just playing all these different characters, dressing up as them, um, and just, I don't know, also putting them off. Like the cowboy and Zorro, he really pulled those off. That was impressive. So, yeah, I really like that. So Sam's father, in the beginning of the movie, they show that they have an amazing relationship, and her dad is called Hall, and he owns a diner, and he has this saying that he always tells her. He says, "Never let the fear of striking keep you from playing the game." And they are really big on baseball, softball. Oh no, what is that game called where you hit the ball with with the stick, and then you have to run the four honks. Oh no, I don't know. I think it's baseball, because they say that on baseball all the like first base, second base, third base, home run, when it comes to dating, that those terms are based on baseball. So I think it's baseball. It's not basketball. I don't think it's softball. Is it softball? No, right? Oh, damn, I'm not sure. Oh well, okay. So, so Sam's dad had a diner where everybody felt like family. Um, but then he dies in an earthquake that shakes the house. But before that happens, he tells her, when she asks him, she's like, "Where do princesses go to college?" He says, "They go where princes go, to Princeton." And that's a very nice save, because he was like, how am I going to get myself out of this question? And he also tells you, he's like, "Fairy tales are not just about finding handsome princes. They are about fulfilling your dreams and standing up for what you believe in." And that is very important that he says that, because he says to her, it's not about you finding a guy, it's about you standing up for your beliefs and going after your dreams. That's what it's about. And he also tells her that the book contains very important things that she may need later on in life. Which at the end of the movie, when she throws the book away and she picks the book back up after she's done taking all the crap from Fiona, she finds out that the will, the long lost will, the hidden will that Fiona had hidden from her, that leaves everything to Sam, is in that book. So it is a very important book indeed. But she doesn't know that at the beginning of the movie, so her stepmom gets it all, and then Sam has to work at the diner that their stepmom turned into Fiona's. And I mean, basically Fiona is just milking the fact that she has a stepdaughter, just using her as her personal assistant, her waiter, her whatever. But she says some stupid stuff. She's like, so Fiona flies in Norwegian salmon, which is weird. And she says, oh my goodness, droughts are for poor people. People who use extra water have extra class. And I was just sitting there like, that is terrible. You're terrible for the environment. That is horrible. And when they zoom out, they are the only green garden in town. And I was just like, oh my goodness, why? How do people turn into these mean people? How do they get this stupid and mean and just rude to other people? So there's one guy at the counter that Rhonda takes an order from, and then he says this whole like burgers, fries, Coke, and he's like, Diet Coke. I'm trying to watch my weight, and she's like, oh, it ain't going nowhere. And I was like, oh. But it is true though, switching a Coke for a Diet Coke is not really gonna help you anywhere. And also when Sam is working in the morning before she has to actually go to school, Rhonda is like, you go to school. And she's like, but, and then like all these reasons, and Rhonda's like, no more buts. You just leave Fiona and her big butt to me. And I love Rhonda. She is so amazing. she knows what to say. She knows how to. She's awesome. That's how I would define Rhonda in one word. Awesome. Um. So Terry is a guy at the school, and he lives in his own galaxy. He has this antenna, and he's calling to another galaxy, and that's when Sam says, like, sometimes fantasy is better than reality. And I guess she's right and wrong at the same time. Like, fantasy can be really great, but you always have to wake up from it and get back into reality. So you better make your reality really great so that you like both. And her secret admirer turns out to be Austin. And Austin is the popular guy at school, and Sam is called Diner Girl. But they have this, they communicate in a way that just they get each other in a way that other people don't. And that is very important. Like, hey, you can be very popular and just not feel understood at all. And you can have one friend and a family that's not family by blood and feel better understood, Because Austin's dad wants him to go to USC to play basketball, whereas Austin wants to be a writer and go to Princeton. That's how they met. They met in a chat room for Princeton. So Austin also said, like, I can be surrounded by a sea of people and still feel alone. Do you know that feeling? Do you know the feeling of being surrounded by a lot of people and still feeling all alone? And being by yourself in a room and feeling so just content and happy by yourself. You know how funny that is sometimes? How the amount of people around you really does not make you feel better or worse. It makes you feel better or worse, but it's not that more people make you feel better or less people make you feel worse. It's sometimes that more people make you feel more lonely and less people make you feel less lonely. It's kind of funny that way, isn't it? But the movie also has like old school texting and messaging and emailing, which I love. I freaking love that time. So Sam also calls us the guy, Nomad from online, Austin, too good to be true. And yeah, there are all these bits in the movie that are just very interesting. There are all these little lessons, all these little choices of word that are very subtle and it's really easy to miss. But at the same time, it's like, oh, okay. So Fiona tells Sam, like, you're not very pretty and you're not very bright, which is like basically talking her down and just being very demeaning and rude. But at the same time, I feel like Fiona's opinion of Sam doesn't hit her that hard. I mean, it still hurts. I'm not saying it doesn't do anything, but they don't hit her that hard because she has these people who believe in her. And that shows that, hey, if you have negativity in your life, surround yourself with positive people and people who will lift you up, because you need that to balance out. And of course you need to cut out the negativity of your life, but sometimes that's not possible. But if you have negativity in your life, you need to figure out a way to have people around you to lift you up so that you can balance out the negative with the positive. And Rhonda doesn't take any crap from Fiona because she knows her worth. So she doesn't walk on these rollerblades because she's like, Fiona, if I wanted to look like a clown, I'd join the circus. And Fiona just cannot handle Rhonda because Rhonda's better, obviously, and nicer and smarter. And Fiona is like, I'm a very appealing person, which is just horrible. Like, even when you say that, I'm like, no, you're not. Are you kidding me? And also Rhonda then saying, like, that woman can make a nun swear. I was like, yeah, I bet she can. So then Austin and Shelby and a couple of other people come in, and Shelby is like, what has no sugar, no carbs, and is fat-free? And I love it when Sam was like, water. Because that's the only thing. Like, what are you doing in a diner If you want something no sugar, no carbs, and fat free, what are you doing? Go make yourself a salad at home. Like, what are you doing? This is a diner. It is of course that is what you're like. That's the thing you're not gonna find, obviously. And then Austin, dear Austin, you have a lot of times where you're not showing up as the person you should be, or as the guy you wanna be, and you're not doing the thing you should, or stand up for the right person. You're not. But this was nice because here he's like, Shelby, I want to talk to you in private. And she's like, anything you say to me, you can say in front of my peeps. Where I was like, okay, girl, you chose this. And then he says, I want to break up. And I was so happy. That made me so happy. Yeah, so Shelby throughout the movie tries to get him back, but he's just like, nah, I don't want you. I'm done with you. That made me really happy. So, also there's the ball where she shows up, and before that she was like, true love is gonna have to wait, and Rhonda is like, no, that's not how it's gonna work. Like, no way. But Rhonda talks about her next attempt down the aisle, and she's like, that's a long story. But we never hear the story. I really, really want to know what Rhonda's story is behind the whole dress. Like, of course I have my thoughts on it, what could be it, but it would have been nice if we knew the story behind the dress and the reason that Rhonda was like, I'm keeping it, I'm saving it for my next attempt down the aisle. Like, what happened at the previous attempt, and what is happening? Like, what is this mystery here that we really want to hear but are not told during the movie? So, also, the girl with the amazing hair who does the microphone and the daily updates, she is like, at the start of the dance, she's like, in true LA fashion, it's not about who you are, it's about what you wear. And I was like, oh no, that's a very, very crappy world to live in. Is LA really like that? I've never been there, but that sounds crappy. Is that really true? But then Sam comes down in that amazing dress to this great song, with amazing lyrics. The best day of my life. It's a wonderful song. It's really good. And then Shelby's also like, love the dress, hate her. And I'm like, why do people hate on each other? Why can't they just be happy for each other that they look good? I don't get it. What this movie also showed, by the way, is that girls and guys can be just friends. And my theory on that is, if you are not attracted to each other, you can be friends as girls and guys. Sure, it is possible. If you are physically attracted to each other, probably somewhere along the way, something more will happen. But if you're not attracted like that, then you can just be lifelong friends. Like, yes, that is a thing, that is possible. I do believe in that. So, given the choice, would you rather have a rice cake or a Big Mac? I really like that question because it says a lot about a person, right? Would you? What would you? I don't even know what a rice cake is. I think that says enough about. I think that says enough about me, to be honest. And there are all these other questions, right? Like, do you need music to dance? Like, Austin asks Sam to dance, and there's no music. She's like, there's no music, and he's like, well, like it doesn't bother him. Do you need music to dance? Can you just dance like that, or do you need music to feel the I don't know, to feel the music, I guess, to be able to dance? What do you think? And do you believe in love at first sight? Do you think that's what's the word, infatuation, or do you think that that's actually a thing? I think I mean, I believe in attraction at first sight, thinking like, this person's cute. But love at first sight, I don't think so. I mean, not in a relationship, like not in a romantic relationship way. I mean, kids, when a woman gives birth, then yeah, but relationship, like romantic relationship, no, I don't think so. I don't think that that's a thing. And then the alarm goes off just before she's about to show who she really is. And then she's like, I'm late. And he's like, for what? And then she's like, reality. And I was like, Yeah, that's a crappy one because you can't run from that one. You cannot run from reality. I mean, you can try, and you might succeed for a little while, but you cannot run forever from reality. That's not a thing. It's not how it works. So she runs off, she drops her phone, and then she tells Carter that she didn't tell him who she is. Because she's like, I live in an attic, I drive a beat up car. Mm-mm. Um, yeah, and then Austin creates a Cinderella stand, and he says that he, like, when they dance, he said that he would recognize her, those eyes, anywhere, and then he sees her in the hallway and he doesn't recognize her. And I was like, you know, nope. That's not, nope, you know? It's just, it got me really, it just saddened me a bit that I was like, are you serious? You know, like, you say this stuff, it's like, oh, those eyes, blah, 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 blah. And then you see her in the hallway and you look at her and you look her in the eye and you're like, you're not seeing it. I was like, you know, that's a bit sad, Austin. I'm a bit disappointed in you at this point. Yeah. And then she gets all hung up on him, which is not helping her out because then they make this horrible skit and they make fun of her in front of everybody. And then Austin just turns, looks at her, and turns back. And I was like, boy, this is your moment to stand up for her, to do the right thing, and you didn't. And I was very, very disappointed at that point. So then Sam is all sad and crying, which I get. And then she doesn't get into Princeton because her stepmom, Fiona, apparently is smart enough to make a fake Princeton letter, but not smart enough to think clearly. So I was like, what? Yeah. And then she walks through the school, everybody's laughing at her, and basically everything went wrong. But then the stepsisters hit the door too hard to shut it at the diner, and the quote from her dad clears up. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. And Sam quits, moves out, moves in with Rhonda, and it's like, you're through messing with me. And then everybody quits. And then I was like, yeah, you know, girl, go after what you want, go for what you believe in, go after your dreams, your ideas, and just live for you. And that's what she does. And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the locker room, I'm gonna tell Austin what I think. And she's like, I never pretended to be anybody else. I don't care what people think about me, because I believe in myself and I know that I'll be okay. And I can't be waiting for you, because waiting for you, and I love this one has always stuck with me. Waiting for you is like waiting for rain in this drought. Useless and disappointing. And I was like, yep, exactly. That is exactly what this situation here is showing us. It is not working. You cannot wait for somebody who is not gonna stand up for you. It's just not how it works. So I was very proud of her for that. And then during the game, because Carter is always there for her, so Carter shows up after that, and they go watch the game together. And Austin sees Sam leave because she cannot handle being there anymore. And he runs after her and he tells his dad, like, hey, and his dad's like, you're throwing away your dream. And Austin's like, no, Dad, I'm throwing away yours. And he goes after what he wants. And he runs to Sam and she asks him, she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, something I should have done a long time ago. And I was like, heck yeah, you should have. And then he kisses her. And then there's a raindrop and there's rain and there's a freaking rainstorm. And I love it. I love the rain and the rainstorm. I can watch a thunderstorm all night. I love it. I love it. I freaking love it. I know a lot of people don't, but I love it. And then he says, sorry that I waited for the rain. And Carter is just like, you gotta love high school. So then she finds out that her dad left everything to her in his will. And Carter gets a commercial. Sam and Austin go to Princeton together. And it's like an end-all happy story. And then I wondered, did Austin do make the right decisions? Did he need all this time? Or did he do it wrong, and should he have stepped up earlier? Should he have done it differently? He saw her in the hallway. He saw her at the skit. He didn't say anything. He needed to wait till the final game, till her showing up in the locker room, for him to get the guts to do the right thing. And that disappointed me a bit. Because it showed me, well, first of all, it showed me that she's stronger than he is, that's for sure. At least mentally and emotionally, because she goes after what she wants and she does the right thing. But it was also, I was like, boy, you got one life. You got one life that you are living for yourself. You are not owed anybody your life. You are not living for your parents. Your parents wanted you, and you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them for being born. You can't, of course it's not always that simple. I know that. I know that everybody feels responsibility toward, or many people do, feel responsibility towards the parents. I get that. But at the same time, your life is not something you owe to your parents. You got it from your parents. It's a gift. Now go live it to your best ability. Go make it the best thing ever. Make them proud, but mostly make yourself proud. Put yourself in the first place. Make yourself proud. And be a good person. Be a good person, make yourself proud, and then you make your parents proud. That's how you make your parents proud. But being yourself and being a good person, you will make your parents proud. I believe that's how it works. Now, I'm not saying that everybody believes that. I'm not saying I'm always right. Maybe there's a better way. Maybe there's a better idea. Maybe there's a better way of thinking about it. That could be true. But I think this is one way to think about it, and one way you should consider, maybe, if you want. It's no obligation, of course. So there's one more question that I think Austin said it. He walked into the diner and Sam was being all nervous and cute. And then he asked her, he was like, do you ever feel like if you show someone who you really are, they won't accept you? And I think when he asked it, it was about his dad, who wanted him to go to USC instead of Princeton and didn't even want to listen about him taking other options. Thankfully, his dad came around at the end, which is great. But, it's hard to want something different than the people who love you a lot. It's hard sometimes. So, do you ever feel like if you show someone who you really are, they won't accept you? Do you? Are you scared of that? Then how did that fear come about? Where does it come from? And do you think it's rightfully so that it's there? What do you think? So, final thing. When Carter goes to Sam, because she just comes out of the locker room, she then asks him, so what character are you today? And he says, myself. And then she answers, I think it's your best look. And I think that's a really important little piece that we should all remember. You look best, prettiest, nicest, happiest, kindest, smartest, most amazing when you're yourself. I know, I like you most when you're yourself. I think you might like you most when you're yourself. And when you're not yourself, you might feel like something's wrong or something's missing. Because you're your best version when you're yourself. So please remember that for me, okay?